Max Holloway recently shared some behind-the-scenes footage from UFC 329, where he crossed paths with fellow fighters Paddy Pimblett, Charles Oliveira, and the Korean Zombie.
That was sick. We got to
Thank you very much, Sergeant. Hold on.
You guys be safe.
Hey.
So many buddies.
In my life, a couple more.
Congrats.
Great job, Max.
Thank you.
Analyzing what actually happens, Dr. Sutterer notes that while the position of the injury is classic for an ACL tear, he points out the notable absence of what's called a pivot shift.
Rotation of how the foot is externally rotated, the idea that we see a little bit of the knee going inward, the trunk is leaning over his injured side. But what you don't see on this injury is the classic pivot shift that you will sometimes see with an ACL tear. Now that doesn't mean that this is not an ACL tear, but you at least don't see that stereotypical kind of pathognomonic shift forward of the tibia and then pop backwards like we would if you could confirm 100% that this was an.
The doctor offers a sobering medical perspective on what McGregor is facing, laying out the range of possibilities from a meniscus tear, which would sideline him for 1 to 6 months, to an ACL injury
on the knee, which can irritate an already injured meniscus or lead to a new injury of the meniscus. Again, though, this position, absolutely, we have to keep an ACL on the differential. I think, though, if we were going to see the ACL, it would have been in this position. We would have seen that knee rotate a little bit more. We would have seen the tibia shift. So I'm going to put ACL number 2 behind the meniscus number 1. Either way, just absolutely, really devastating. I mean, I remember the last McGregor fight, you know, he broke his leg. So to see him come back here, whether he was injured coming into the fight or this was a new injury, you gotta wonder if this is gonna be the end for him if he can come back from another.
Daniel Cormier believes it's unlikely that Conor McGregor will return to the UFC. DC says that even if McGregor decides to come back, he's unsure if fans will even buy into it again. DC also explains why he thinks people should stop criticizing Conor for throwing the spinning kick at the start of the fight.
When you have the money that Conor McGregor has, that's a big ask. And if you ask me truthfully, I am more likely to tell you that it's not going to happen than it will happen. He's very unique, and I think the whole week showed that. He's the biggest star that we have, and the whole week showed that. I just wonder if he even does try to come back once again. Do people even buy into it again and say they want to see Conor McGregor go at it one more time?
Go ahead.
It really sucks because the card itself was insane. I think we need to be careful when we judge, because there have been times where people have done crazy things to start fights and they've worked, and we praise the athlete as if they're some genius. Tonight was one of those times that it didn't work. I remember Fabricio Verdum just running across the octagon and super kicking Travis Brown like he was on the game Double Dragon. Clearly, George Masvidal did it to Ben Askren, and we all praised him for that. I think we need to be careful when we have a big opinion on something that happens, because sure, everybody's mad. It went sideways, but had Conor landed that, everybody would praise him for what.
Ilia Topuria was spotted in Alicante. His face appears to have completely healed since the Justin Gaethje fight.
The kick, he went down and he kind of went ow and he fell down, and I was like, you could see me in there. I'm telling the ref, bro, this guy does not want to fight. And the crazy mother effer he is, he said fight, and he stand back up. I was like, holy shit, okay, we're gonna fight. Then he went down the second time, and when I told the ref, call this fight already, come on, he didn't say nothing. The ref stepped in, so it is what it is.
Entering into the fight with a titanium rod was pretty difficult for him, but the tough training phase Conor had been through doesn't hint that he was already injured.
I mean, anything can happen in live sports, as we all know, especially this sport, and Conor McGregor made the decision to come out with a very wild strike. I don't know if he just felt like he needed to set the tone on this. I mean, the odds of that strike landing, he basically sprinted out from his corner and threw a high, violent, wide-ranging head kick. He wasn't really even in range to catch Max Holloway, and his leg buckled on it. I don't know if psychologically he was trying to send a message to Max Holloway that after 5 years off that he was still going to be the same guy, but clearly he wasn't the same guy. His body gave out, his knee very clearly buckled, and then the rest of the fight was basically Conor McGregor falling down to the point that Max Holloway was basically kind of standing away from.
Footage from the weigh-ins shows that McGregor may have been dealing with a knee issue before the fight. Tom Aspinall recently shared his thoughts on Conor McGregor's injury, and in doing so, seemed to take a subtle swipe at Joe Rogan.
What's going on? Oh. That's upsetting, isn't it? Joe Rogan said it's his ACL, so it definitely is. He's just got like MRI vision where he can see into his knee, just like diagnose him straight away. It's horrible, that, isn't it?
Tom Aspinall has informed the UFC of his readiness to defend the heavyweight title. Ciryl Gane, after defeating Alex Pereira at the White House for the interim title, then called for a unification bout with Aspinall in Paris. Aspinall is willing to make that fight happen.
We've let the UFC know that we're ready to go, and we're just waiting for dates. We told them we can do it in Paris, we told them we can do it wherever they want. So we're just waiting for him to let us know. I'm in the gym, smashing it.
We will be with you the week after. We'll come and film a bit of a sesh.
Yeah.
Got the boys back in town, so we'll keep people updated. But as we say, the UFC, we're waiting on them.
We are waiting on them.
Turning to the moment the fight turned, Sean O'Malley describes the injury that ended McGregor's night just over a minute in, a freak landing on a kick that left him unable to continue, though he stopped short of speculating on the severity or long-term impact.
Looked fucking good. It looked like he went out there and threw that kick. If Conor was compromised, if his knee hurt going into the fight, he doesn't come out and throw that kick. You just don't come out and jump off your leg and land on your other compromised knee that's already hurt. For everyone to say Conor's knee's already hurt, and he was that sounds ridiculous. To me, it's just, he didn't seem like it looked like a freak accident. This is just, freak accidents happen. Unfortunately, it happened on the biggest, absolutely most insane card, most insane comeback of all time. Freak shit happens, and that looked like that freaky shit happened.
Shifting to the emotional fallout, Sean opens up about his own disappointment and his sympathy for both fighters.
Oh, dude, Max just got an insane payday. The thing that sucks for Max, though, it's like he had it prayed. One of the craziest training camps that he's ever had. The most money he's ever going to make, and he still made it. But it's just, you almost feel guilty. It was kind of the same thing with Paddy. Paddy went out there and at least subbed him, looked fucking sick. But you almost feel guilty because you're not hurt. Your hands don't hurt. Your face doesn't hurt. Nothing hurts. I bet Max is just like, what the fuck? I would be, if I was in Max's position, I'm sure I'd be so, like, you're grateful, you're blessed, everything's great, but you didn't get to go out there and do what you love to do. You didn't get to go out there and perform. You didn't go out there and show the world how good you are.
Holloway described a fight that ended almost before it began, with McGregor struggling after an early exchange and the referee stepping in despite his protests.
Yeah, I mean, I had the man weak in the knees, I guess, so, all jokes aside, I just hope he's good, I know Conor been battling some stuff. Looked like he really been changing. He found God. He had his kids in there, so, during the fight, you could obviously tell his demeanor changed, And I was, shout out to the ref. I was trying to tell the ref sooner, like, this guy's kids is front row, I don't want to see him take unnecessary damage. Trying to stop the fight, but this is how crazy Conor is. The first time he's on the ground, I was punching him. He's like, fight. I was like, okay. That's why I backed up. I said, stand up there.
Holloway made it clear that Saturday night wasn't the end of his story. He expressed genuine interest in a trilogy fight with McGregor.
He was talking about this 170 domain. I put in this 170 work. We worked our asses off here, especially after turning around so fast after that March fight, and to come back. I wanna feel this domain that he's talking about, this 170 Conor that he's talking about, this different world, That's what I want, brother. That would be so much fun, you know. I think so. I want to become a 2-division champ. I don't think anybody did that yet. Skip one and then go just to another weight class. So that'd be amazing, right? That'd be so much fun. And then if I beat Islam, right? If I got to get the fight and I beat him, in Justin's words, I would have been the 155 champ. So I'm the first triple champ. Problem solved.
Addressing the pre-fight speculation, White made it clear that nothing in McGregor's movement or public appearances raised any red flags, though he stopped short of explaining the injury itself.
We were talking about the guy over here earlier asking about there being a pre-injury. Just on my accounts, the face-off that day is at 80 million views, right? So if there was a pre-existing injury, somebody would have noticed it. He was limping, put his shoes on, he ran right at him. I don't think there was. Anything is possible, but he sure didn't look like it. And for 80 million just on my accounts, you know, that number's got to be massive, and nobody noticed anything, so.
Right after his dominant UFC 329 performance, Paddy Pimblett wastes no time setting his sights on the top of the lightweight division. He makes it clear that his goal is to fight every elite contender at lightweight on the road to UFC gold.
The UFC doesn't have anybody in mind. Do you have some things, hey, this is what I would prefer from you?
No, not really. I want to be a world champion. I want to be undisputed champion of the world. I want to be the first ever world champion from Liverpool. And I'm going to do that. I know that's in my destiny. I know it's in my fate. Whether it's the next fight or the next 10 fights, I'm going to be a world champion. It's that simple. If you want me to fight Justin next, if you want me to fight Posh Boy next, if you want me to fight Chorizo next, if you want me to fight Charles next, anyone can get it.
Discussing the lightweight division, UFC legend, but took aim at several other top contenders.
Lads, I'm game. Put the music back on, I'll go back out and I'll fight Max. I probably weigh heavier than Max right now. Lads, I'm game. Know what I mean? Give me anyone at lightweight now and I'll kill them.
Keeping the focus on his biggest rivalry, Pimblett says a fight with Ilia Topuria remains one of his top priorities.
I know how fake he is and I know he deserves a beating. And he got the beating he deserved off Justin, but he deserves another one off me. But at the minute, I feel sorry for him. You know what I mean? The poor little guy.
Justin Gaethje believes Ilia Topuria would simply be too much for him if they ever fought. He points to Topuria elite striking, complete skill set, and championship-level ability as the reasons he expects the former champion to come out on top.
Having fought both men, which fight would you say is more challenging?
Oh, well, I mean, Ilia is one of the best in the world. He is one of the most dangerous fighters that there is, and he's a lot more dangerous than Paddy Pimblett. However, Paddy Pimblett is goofy. He's got a funky style, and not goofy in a bad way.
Yeah.
Not at all. You know, being goofy is such an asset. In there, he's really hard to hit. He's really long. You know, he moves in weird angles and at different times, and so that throws you off. And that's why he has success, and that's why guys like Sean Strickland have success, and guys like Dricus Du Plessis have success, because their timing is just different and funky, and having a funky style is hard to figure out the first time you're fighting somebody. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just that. I think Ilia is way more dangerous. I think fighting's crazy. I think, you know, in my mind, I think 97 out of 100 times, Ilia beats him up.
Pimblett, on the other hand, completely dismisses the hype surrounding Topuria. He confidently predicts he can finish him either on the feet or on the ground, and insisting the unbeaten aura around Topuria is exaggerated and promising to prove it if the fight is booked.
To absolutely smash his face in for him. I can see me beating him anywhere the fight goes, to be honest. People have put him on a pedestal now. They think he's this big, amazing thing, when I'll bring him crashing back down to earth in a big way.
However, Topuria was already just as confident from his side and showed no doubts about how a fight with Paddy Pimblett would play out.
So with all the fans around the world, I think that they want to see that fight. And at the same time, I have to be honest, I think it's one of the easiest fights that I could have in the lightweight division. I don't know, I can do with him whatever I want to do in reality. It's very excited fight for the fans.
Yeah.
Where I'm gonna enjoy a lot the whole process, and at the same time, it's a fight where I'm gonna be able to shine once again.
How would you win? When would you win? Give us some of that Ilia prediction magic.
Against Paddy?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to think about it. I promise you, I could choose the way I want to finish.
First round?
Be that's for sure. He's not gonna stay there for more than one round with me. But I don't know, maybe it's gonna be cool to submit him in the ground with a triangle choke from the mount, something like that. Like, as I told him, put my in his forehead.
Jorge Masvidal shares a similar opinion. He believes Paddy Pimblett's statement win has made a fight with Ilia Topuria impossible to ignore. He argues that the rivalry now has everything a blockbuster matchup needs.
Wow. Again, I say wow to the Paddy fight. I was not expecting that at all whatsoever. Holy smokes. Newsflash, if you don't know, Paddy choked a man dead in 30 seconds. And that man was BSD, which is no slouch. Paddy, wow, my hat's off to you, brother. That was impressive. I didn't think you were going to do that, man. That was impressive. I think Paddy and Ilia is one of the biggest fucking fights you can make in all of the sport. Why not? Why aren't we doing this fight right now? I want to see Ilia versus Paddy no matter what. Ladies and gentlemen, make it.
Even while calling for Topuria, Pimblett also likes his chances against Charles Oliveira.
I was talking about it about 10 minutes ago. I'd submit Charles.
And have you heard anything back from him or?
No, like, I've got nothing but respect for Charles. You know what I mean? He's an absolute legend in the sport, but he's on his way out. And I think if he tried to grapple with me, I'd submit him. But we'd probably end up having a war for 5 rounds on the feet if I ended up fighting Charles Oliveira.
Looking ahead at Pimblett's future, Michael Bisping believes his career has entered a completely different stage following UFC 329.
Pimblett, he was amazing. What's next for Paddy? We don't know. I don't think it's going to be a title fight. I think maybe a fight with Charles Oliveira. He called him out.
Like, I've got nothing but respect for Charles, you know what I mean? He's an absolute legend in the sport, but he's on his way out. And I think if he tried to grapple with me, I'd submit him.
Maybe a fight with Max Holloway. Maybe a fight with Justin Gaethje. A fight with Max Holloway would make a lot of sense. If Max wants to come back down to 155, which I think he will. He looked quick, he looked fast, he looked mean, he looked lean, he ran in, he jumped off the side of the octagon like Anthony Showtime Pettis back.
Sharing a similar view, Chael Sonnen believes Pimblett suddenly has no shortage of massive opportunities after such a dominant performance.
What's next for Paddy? You want to know a great fight that somebody in the know, I gotta leave their name out, but somebody whose opinion matters just suggested? Max Holloway versus Paddy the Baddy. Now, I understand the recency bias on getting them together, but there's still a post-fight press conference. There's post-fight media. If those guys go out and find one another, right, I don't think it's a fight that the UFC is going to get going. Paddy the Baddy's already got his hands full. He got business with Arman Tsarukyan. He's got business with Ilia Topuria. Justin Gaethje mentioned last night, if you guys didn't see, that he has not yet decided if he's going to retire or continue to compete. I didn't even know that was on the table. I thought Gaethje was all in, but just imagine that Gaethje was to step aside. That puts the belt up at a vacated standpoint. 2 athletes are going to be asked to come forward.
Sean Strickland warned Nina Drama about Gable Steveson. For those unaware, back in 2019, Gable was investigated over a sexual assault allegation involving the alleged use of an object, but prosecutors did not file charges. They said there was insufficient evidence to prosecute and also pointed to a legal loophole in Minnesota's laws surrounding voluntary intoxication and consent. Minnesota lawmakers later changed that law. Gable made his UFC debut at UFC 329 over the weekend, making quick work of Elisha Ellison, knocking him out in the first round. Nina posted this on X. She wrote, "Gable Steveson UFC debut was great. My UFC broadcast debut, not so much." Sean Strickland replied saying, "Just make sure he has no objects when you interview him. Things might get weird." Dustin Poirier doesn't understand why Conor McGregor opened up the fight with a jumping switch kick.
Adrenaline, excitement for finally coming back after 5 years. I don't know what he was thinking to open the fight. I don't know whose game plan this was to open the fight with the flying side kick or a roundhouse kick, whatever he threw. When you're dry, you know, it's just crazy to me the way the fight started and ended. It's tough to say, man, because he did kind of hop on that one point when he was taking his shoe off. But it's tough to say. If you knew you were injured, I doubt you would throw a jumping side kick and land sideways on your injured leg. Definitely, he looked bloated. I thought his face looked a little shiny under his eyes, looked a little full. His cheeks looked full. Could be because he's been living an unhealthy lifestyle. I don't feel like 15 pounds would make you your face that bloated. I don't know what's going on. He looked, his body looked fit. His face looked unhealthy. When you don't live the healthiest lifestyle, your body's more susceptible to injuries. It weakens everything when you live an unhealthy lifestyle. The shiny, swollen face could have been telling us the whole time this guy's coming into this not at 100%. And he looks in the mirror and asks himself, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? How many times can you do this before people start moving on? He's addicted to the limelight, addicted to people talking about him. He's addicted to being in headlines. I don't know if he's addicted to the fight itself anymore. If it's a torn ACL, that's another year. At his age, I think he's done. He's done. He'll never come back the same. But how many times can you cry wolf? We're not flying across the world to watch you fight. We know what we get with you. With the record-breaking career he's had, I would just hate to see him be a freak show fighter like that. It only come out for these exhibitions. That's not real fighting to me. I hope he stays on the track in his normal day-to-day life, man. I thought it couldn't have happened to a better guy. You know, that injury couldn't happen to a better guy. I saw earlier this week, he said karma's a mirror, and it definitely is, man. This guy's a dirtbag, and I don't know if it was nervous energy. I don't know why you would start a fight like that. They're saying this was planned to start the fight like that. There's footage of him like training to open the fight with this jump kick, but I just don't understand why you would do that. That's like a Hail Mary. You're throwing a Hail Mary to start the fight, start a 25-minute fight. I don't understand what was going on.
Adding another layer to the rivalry, Pimblett argues that Topuria will never be the same after his recent defeat. He believes the punishment Topuria absorbed in that fight could leave lasting effects on both his confidence and future performances.
Just Gaethje to get you into that dogfight, dragged you into it, know what I mean? And Ilia's never had that. Ilia's never had to come back from adversity. Ilia's only ever been the hammer. He's never been the nail. Know what I mean? That's why after that fight with Justin that I had, I knew I could come back stronger and better because I've done it before. I don't think Ilia Topuria ever comes back the same.
Following UFC 329, the MMA Guru credits Paddy Pimblett with stealing the show at UFC 329 after delivering a dominant performance against Benoit Saint-Denis.
The card: Benoit Saint-Denis versus Paddy the Baddy lad. Paddy the Baddy Pimblett lad. Yous know who the boy is, lad. Yous know who the fucking boy is, lad. I'm the star of the show, lad. Paddy Pimblett steals the show with a generational performance against Benoit Saint-Denis. Amazing win. Genuinely amazing win. I don't know what the odds ended at, but when I was picking Paddy Pimblett, he's still an underdog. I think he was even more of an underdog when I was picking him as well. The odds closed up a little bit. But people were counting out Paddy here big time. And I said, what did I say, lad? Paddy said the same thing, actually, this fight week. I didn't make my prediction based on what he was saying, but that's the route to victory for him. If he stings Benoit on the feet and Benoit thinks I'll grapple, he leaves his head in position for a real elite fighter to catch guillotines on him.
Because of that performance, MMA Guru is convinced the UFC should move straight to Paddy Pimblett versus Ilia Topuria following UFC 329.
Spider lad. I'm like a fucking spider lad. Starts calling out Ilia Topuria, the winner of Holloway versus McGregor. There was fighting, I guess that fight ain't happening. Maybe you could get Holloway though. But I reckon December, Ilia Topuria, Paddy Pimblett. Why not, man? Let Paddy Pimblett have his summer. He's back on momentum. You have to cash in on Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett. You just simply have to. I won't take anything else. And then you do Oliveira, Arman. I would like to see Arman versus Gaethje, but I could see them not doing it and maybe doing an Arman versus Holloway, but I don't know what's going to happen. But Paddy Pimblett, Ilia Topuria has to happen next. And guess what? It's actually a fucking interesting fight.
Sonnen also believes Pimblett has finally put the doubters to rest. He praises the noticeable improvements in his discipline, professionalism, and commitment outside the cage.
Paddy the Baddy is nobody's fool. I think that you guys are seeing that now, but a lot of you guys were like me. You thought that this was a kid that said funny things with a weird hairdo. This is a regional fighter. He doesn't take it too serious. He blows up. He goes from Paddy the Fatty to Paddy the Baddy. He doesn't do that anymore. Rashad Evans was just making a point. Rashad had talked to people in his camp. Paddy's not blowing up in between fights anymore. Paddy's been out with injury. Paddy's last contest was a long, drawn-out 25-minute war. Think about him in this standpoint. If he uses this for what it should be, a springboard, he's already got his weight down. He's already in shape. He doesn't have to miss a week, 2, 3, 4 weeks of practice to heal his body. This literally is what dreams are made of.
Demetrious Johnson is equally impressed, going as far as calling Pimblett a future UFC champion. He praises the way Pimblett remains calm during chaotic scrambles.
But for me, I think Paddy Pimblett is a future champion. I truly mean that. He's very good everywhere. He's good at creating the chaos. And I think for him, once he gets into chaos, he's able to find submissions. And each submission that he really, gets is very, very good basics, good fundamentals, meaning that BSC comes across the board, they start exchanging, he shoots a takedown, he gives up his neck, he takes the neck, and he stays with a choke. He attacks the guillotine, BSC rolls. When he rolls, he traps, he attacks the shoulder. When I mean he attacks the shoulder, when he's trying to roll through, he attacks the shoulder so you can't completely roll through. When he attacked it and he rolled through, he locks up a beautiful Darce choke. He hangs onto it. BSD's trying to escape. Paddy sits on his butt, throws his legs over, and he's able to lock it in. He keeps it, secures that beautiful submission.
Ariel Helwani believes Pimblett quietly emerged as one of the biggest winners of UFC 329, despite all the attention surrounding Conor McGregor's return. He argues that competing in the co-main event gave Pimblett enormous exposure.
Let's talk very briefly about what happened in the co-main event, because what happened in the co-main event to me, I thought was going to be related to the main event. I was even saying as we were doing the watch along, like, oh, do they bring Paddy out? Do they have him there? Obviously, much ado about nothing. But Paddy Pimblett was given the slot of co-main event, not by chance. And who cares what happened in January at this point? Paddy Pimblett gets the opportunity to showcase himself on the Conor McGregor card. We'll find out maybe down the line how many people were actually watching, but I'm sure it was a big number. And he came out, I mean, the complete 180 of what happened in the main event. He nailed it every single step of the way.
Continuing that thought, Helwani says Pimblett couldn't have asked for a better
night.
night.
He submits. He nails the walkout, the entrance, all that stuff and more. And then he submits Benoit Saint-Denis via Darce choke in what was also a shocking turn of events in a very short amount of time, because Benoit Saint-Denis, throws a kick and then all of a sudden, I think it was a kick, right? And then all of a sudden shoots and gets caught in a guillotine, which eventually ends up being a Darce choke here. And Paddy is unbelievable on the ground. He's obviously very comfortable. That's his forte, the grappling side of things. And he chokes him out. Not just chokes, out cold. Out cold. An unbelievable turn of events, a glowing review. And then he nails the post-fight interview as well, because he says, Ilia, Conor, who else did he say? Max, Justin, you can all get it.
Speaking about the finish itself, Pimblett reveals the fight-ending submission wasn't something he had specifically planned beforehand.
Early on in a fight, right? There's a possibility you could burn your arms out. There's a possibility you give up position because you're going for this choke. Was any of that playing through your mind in your decision-making, or did you simply know, like, this is done at this moment?
No, my corner was right in front of me. My head coach, Paul Ellis and Chris were all there, and Paul literally said, don't burn your arms out. But I knew I had it cinched up. I knew he was good at defending a guillotine. So we'd worked on other things around the guillotine, and that was just there, picture perfect. And it wasn't a proper Peruvian necktie, but I literally drilled a Peruvian necktie for the first time in about 10 years, about 5 weeks ago with my coach. And it was like a mixture between a Darce and a Peruvian necktie, but that's just how good my jiu-jitsu is. I can link things together like that flawlessly.
I was gonna say, it felt like you almost kind of just like implemented that on the fly, not necessarily.
Oh, I've never done that before. I've never done that before. I just done that on the fly. That's how I roll. My jiu-jitsu is the best in the world.
Rampage Jackson also heaps praise on Pimblett, describing his victory over Benoit Saint-Denis as one of the standout performances of UFC 329.
Paddy Pimblett is the star of the night. Paddy Pimblett is the one that, when you walk away, when you go, man, that Conor card really felt bad. But shit, Paddy Pimblett, that's the first thing you're gonna say. You're gonna say, but Paddy Pimblett. And so A++, absolutely nailed it.
Biggest win of his career, right, Rick?
So many options for him.
Yeah.
With the back against the wall, undoubtedly on a stage like that, on a Conor McGregor card, to go out there and beat BSD in less than a minute.
An underdog as well, yeah.
An underdog as well. I mean, we talk about, is Conor McGregor going to fight again? Now Max is, calling out a guy who we have no idea if he's going to return. He's sort of in this what's next for Max, BSD as well. Paddy Pimblett is just yep, champs on the list. He lost to him recently. Yeah, he called out Conor. Oh well, we still have Ilia right there as well. The amount of big fights ahead for Paddy Pimblett. It was a very special night for Paddy Pimblett, no doubt.
Paddy Pimblett is the one that when you walk away, when you go, man, that that Conor card really felt bad.
So many options for him.
With the back against the wall, undoubtedly on a stage like that, on a Conor McGregor card, to go out there and beat BSD in less than a minute.
An underdog as well, yeah.
I mean,
an underdog as well. I mean, we talk about, is Conor McGregor going to fight again? Now Max is, calling out a guy who we have no idea if he's going to return. He's sort of in this what's next for Max, BSD as well. Paddy Pimblett is just yep, champs on the list. He lost to him recently. Yeah, he called out Conor. Oh well, we still have Ilia right there as well. The amount of big fights ahead for Paddy Pimblett. It was a very special night for Paddy Pimblett, no doubt about it.
Dominick Cruz believes Conor McGregor returned to fighting in an attempt to escape the lifestyle he had been living. Following McGregor's injury and TKO loss to Max Holloway, Cruz says Conor is now right back to where he was before taking the fight.
We keep saying he doesn't need to come back because he's got the money, right? But I disagree. I think the reason why he was coming back was to save his own life from the money, from the lifestyle that he's been living. I think that he's going to be facing that again. God's going to keep putting the same test in front of you until you choose different. Fighting wasn't going to pull you out. Fighting can't solve everything. And he's going to learn that because now he's got to face himself without this thing that really cures a lot of us. I mean, martial arts saved my life. I truly believe he came back to save his own life. And now he's back to where he started before he booked.
Machine Gun Kelly continues to mock Conor McGregor. Back in 2021, the two got into an altercation at the MTV VMAs after UFC 329. MGK posted this on his Instagram. He wrote, "Knees weak of old age. The real Conor can't stand up." He followed up with this video today.
I did a post yesterday, and I should probably apologize for absolutely nothing, homie. This dude, that's how beef works. We don't like each other. Everyone's saying, oh, you commented on his age. He's only 1 year older than you about his knees. Hey, guess what? We don't age the same. My knees are awesome. Oh, you wouldn't say it to his face. I already did. That's why a picture exists of this little leprechaun punching up and missing me and me not flinching. Where the is the rest of the footage where we toss this little guy like a piece of dirty drawers across the red carpet? That's why all the footage starts with him far away. Buddy, you look like a drunk, ugly extra in a Sherlock Holmes movie. What in the 1934 am I looking at? Fix your face. Holy shit. That's me. Why are you kicking him while he's down? Dude, this guy when he's down, up, sideways, asleep, while I'm peeing. Sorry. What in the Liddell happened to the landing strip on your head? Worst 10 seconds I've ever seen. Thank you for the walkout being longer than the fight. You wasted everyone's time. It's pissed.
Wade explains that just seconds into the fight, McGregor attempted a jumping switch kick, and upon landing, his right knee buckled immediately.
Of the Mystic Mac. He sprinted across the cage, took 2 or 3 steps, jumped, and performed a switch kick in midair, landing on his right leg and knee, and it immediately buckled. He tore his ACL, potentially his meniscus, and the fight was essentially over before it even began. There was a little skirmish where Conor tried to tell Max to keep fighting, and referee Mike Beltran eventually just had to stop the fight because Conor couldn't even stand up.
Breaking down the moment that changed everything, Wade points out that while McGregor has landed similar kicks before, the context, his age, his layoff, his history of leg injuries, though he stops short of calling it reckless.
Just cannot believe he opened up with a jumping switch. I have my 6th degree black belt karate instructor, Sensei Oos. He texted me as soon as this fight ended. We'll put the text on screen in post. He said, tore his knee on the opening move. He's truly unk. Also, skip round, running skip around to the head. So essentially he's saying he shouldn't have thrown the skipping round kick or the switch kick. I can't tell you how dangerous and wrong that move is that he did. Now again, he's done it before, but not with the running start. Sensei said, I know the kick he was trying to do because he usually does it, but his distance was off. He was clearly planning on throwing it. So he lunged forward and extended his kicking foot forward and up mid-air.
From the torn ACL against Khabib to the broken leg against Poirier, frame this as a potential closing chapter for one of the sport's most iconic figures.
That's got to be curtains for Conor's career. For me, looking at it, that's got to be curtains. Because what else is there? He has one more fight on his UFC deal. Maybe he could come back in like a Nate trilogy. But that loss of charisma, that loss of the moment, that loss of the fans' trust, and that's not his fault. I'm not saying this is Conor's fault. But the loss of the fans' trust and now becoming a more of a meme and more of a, oh, I'm not doing that because we don't know what version of Conor is going to come in. We don't know if he's even healthy. You lose that and the trust of the UFC even to book you and keep you healthy, to provide for the fans. And that's the biggest indicator.
Now, Paddy Pimblett also offered his own perspective on why the injury may have happened in the first place.
It was sad to see, you know what I mean, but that's the thing with this sport. You've got to stay consistent, you've got to keep fighting, and I think where he hasn't fought in so long, his body couldn't keep up with it, and coming out and throwing a crazy kick like that first thing, his knee just collapsed underneath him, and I feel bad for him, you know what I mean? He's put so much into coming back and getting back in the octagon, and that happens in the first 5 seconds. You've got to feel.
Reacting to the chaotic and heartbreaking ending, Michael Bisping delivered a brutally honest assessment in his role as a pundit, calling the injury the biggest disappointment in combat sports history and describing how the abrupt finish completely sucked the air out of the building.
And I'm sure the hunger was there on the side of Conor McGregor. But it took about 15 seconds. 15 seconds is all it took. He ran out there, he jumped in the air, he flew a flying kick, which was unadvisable. It was, because the man's almost 40 years old. And then he blew his knee out. And Max Holloway knew straight away. And fair play to Max Holloway, right? He was even telling the referee, going, yo, there's something not right here. There's something not right, okay? Anyway, that was it. It's done. It's over. Conor McGregor returns after 5 years, and he...
For the MMA fans watching the fallout, the scene after the injury was as grim as the moment itself. McGregor was quickly helped from the arena, bypassing all media obligations and leaving behind a stunned crowd.
He left the arena straight away. He got right out of there. He didn't speak to Joe Rogan. It wasn't like when he broke his leg against Dustin Poirier. Against Dustin Poirier, he had some words to say. He had some vitriol. He had some madness. He had some energy. This time, maybe a bit of embarrassment. And I don't mean embarrassment because he shouldn't be embarrassed. The career he's had was far better than mine. I'm not talking any shit whatsoever. It's just embarrassment that's how it went down.
Bisping raises the question that few want to ask, but everyone is thinking whether this injury, combined with McGregor's age and time away, marks the end of an era.
It might be the last time Conor McGregor ever fought.
I don't know if we ever see Conor McGregor again. He broke the left leg last time. This time we don't know the injury, but it looks like he's blown a knee out.
And I wasn't being insulting though when I said that, because this sport is a bitch. This sport is a bitch. I've got one eye. I've got no knees. I've got fake knees. I live in constant neck pain. I have a deformed wrist. You can see that there. And that's just the beginning of my injury. This sport is a tough sport.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest MMA news. See you in the next one.